Welcome to Cleve Loveland and the Lone Ranger Radio Show with Cleve Loveland and Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger. And here's a show, Cleve, where we talk about how to buy real estate, how to sell real estate, how to save money. And I'm going to tell you something about Cleve Loveland. The guy's been in the real estate business and on the radio longest than anyone in the history of radio.
I think we're going to claim that title because I haven't heard of anybody else that can last that long in real estate. So, I mean, 30 years in real estate is a long time.
It's some longevity.
But we appreciate you tuning in here. We give you all your news on where are mortgage rates at, how to get a mortgage, what can help you get a better interest rate, what kind of programs are out there to help first responders, how to buy a house, how to buy $1 million home, what kind of rates are jumbo loans. I want to talk about that today because that jumbo market is moving.
Love jumbo market.
And how to sell a house, how to get ready to sell. What's going on with the market? I'm seeing now all the headlines about real estate are how real estate is cooling. And what's funny is you've always got to take it with a grain of salt, whatever the fake news says, because their cooling off is that you're only getting 5 offers on a house instead of 15. And that is slower activity, but it's still brisk activity. We are in a seller's market. Will be for a long time in Central Florida.
And we've been in a seller's market for a long time.
We've been in a seller's market for probably 10 years, and with prices rising. And it's just the number of offers. Now, what I'm seeing now, Bruce, is that old saying, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Yep. If your neighbors are selling for $500 and your house is just a little bit cooler, you got a few more upgrades, you got a bigger swimming pool, that means you list it for $519,900, right, not $650. and I'm getting these listings, Bruce. I'm having people call me going, we don't know what's wrong. My neighbors are selling in 2 days. And it's not always price. Sometimes it is just staging. Sometimes it's compensation to the other agent. Believe it or not, if you try and pay 1% to an agent out there because you hired that discount broker and the realtor's coming through the door, they won't even come through the door for that. They're not going to slow their car down. No. They got homes out there they can make a good paycheck on, the average paycheck out there with commission. And they're not going to slow down for yours to take a cut rate on somebody they've been working with for 60 days, 90 days, showing them 20 houses, written 5 offers and lost 5 of them, and they're not going to step over. They're not going to step over that kind of a burden to get through. I
want to address something as well because we tell, and our audience knows we're in a seller's market. Right? They all know we're in a seller's market. That's not really news to them. Everybody knows that sellers are in control, which means really ultimately all that means is there's a shortage of inventory. Yep. When there's an abundance of inventory, then buyers are in control. Yep. Right? So, and the fact that is a seller's market, in my opinion, is not a disadvantage for a buyer because it sounds almost like, well, it's a seller's market. Sellers are in control. Well, that's correct. They are. But that means that housing prices continue to rise.
Yeah, the buyer's going to have equity.
For everybody. Yeah. For healthy for everybody. So it's funny because I was talking to a client yesterday that I did a mortgage for him and I got him into a home a year and a half ago. His credit wasn't that great. Mm-hmm. So he paid a little higher rate than what was prevailing at the time. Yep. We did an FHA loan and he had mortgage insurance. Now, I remember the conversation we had about the mortgage insurance and that, I'd really like to get a conventional, but he just didn't qualify for a conventional loan. I talked to him the day before yesterday, a year and a half. I said, Bakari, how much did you make in that house in a year and a half? $65,000 he's made in profit on that house based on a new refi appraisal in a year and a half. Yep. Now I'm converting him from an FHA to a conventional loan at a lower rate, and his scores are gone up, and no PMI.
No PMI. That's great.
PMI.
Yeah.
So
that's when a refi makes sense.
Well, but my point is, don't wait for you to go, like, if you have 5% to put down right now, and you're like, I really want to avoid PMI, I need 20%. No, you don't. Get in the doggone market now. You'll make the money.
You will, yeah.
You'll make the money. Otherwise, if he would have waited, he'd have paid $65,000 more for the house.
Are rates still around 3%? Depending on where you're at?
Okay. Interest rates are still unbelievable.
So PMI makes it like whatever your rate is, add 1/8 of a point. If you're paying, somewhere around
barely
there.
Even. The higher your credit score is, the lower the PMI.
Good.
Like I just priced one out on a 210 purchase price for a client just before we came in. 210 purchase price. Guy's got an 800 credit score. PMI with only 5% down was $45.
Oh God,
it was $45.
Oh, that's good, because it used to be a percentage of the loan, so that's good. They got a credit base now.
It's always been a factor of the loan amount depending on the loan to value, but it also takes into consideration.
I didn't know it took into account the credit.
Oh, the credit is one of the most important factors on it. The higher your score, the better your PMI.
Yeah.
Right. Matter of fact, if you get to a certain point, I've got a client right now that I'd like to go conventional. Their scores are only in the lower 600s. I can get them approved for the mortgage. I can't get PMI.
Yeah.
So when you can't get PMI, then you're forced to go over to FHA because they guarantee the PMI.
Realtors, this is why it's important to have your buyers call Bruce, and because this is the difference between that and clicking on a button on the screen to get a quickie mortgage. They got somebody reading off a computer screen, reading a script that doesn't know how to put these files together.
Oh, right. Because if you looked at this guy, you'd go, oh, your debt ratio's in line. Credit scores aren't that great. You're approved eligible. I can get you a loan approved eligible. But unless you went to the next step and said, now I need to see if I can get mortgage insurance. And there's only 6 or 7 mortgage insurance companies in the country.
Wow.
That's it. That's all there is.
Yeah.
So, and I'll go through, if I don't get approval on one of them, I'll go to the next one, the next one, the next one. Sooner or later, you exhaust all 6 of them. And
so something's got to change, or they got to go back to FHA.
Or I just go FHA. And listen, I don't think FHA is the redheaded stepchild.
No, it's not.
Here.
No.
It's a great loan.
Usually, aren't the rates a little bit lower too?
Well, it all depends on your credit score.
Oh, okay.
I mean, my highest rate that I have on an FHA loan right now, I think, is 3.625. I mean, that's as high as
you got to be trying not to pay your bills to get that right.
You got to be really bad.
What's the phone number people can reach you at?
407-250-9144. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com.
And Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118. I am working right now. You can give me a call. I'll be working all weekend. We are busy. We've already had a record year at Loveland Properties. We are helping people, and that's what I see about the market cooling slightly. We are still with less than 1 month of inventory out there. We're selling about 4,500 homes a month. There's about 3,500 homes for sale, which means prices are rising. They're not going crazy. We're not selling for 20% above list price, but you still need guidance. And that's what I do as a realtor. I break down what's your personal real estate situation. I just talked to some people, and it was imperative because of what they had happening that they got sold this month. So we priced it accordingly. Right. I have some other people I'm listing next week. They actually don't need to move until a certain date. So we're going to test the market a little bit higher or try and get a lease back for them. But that's what a realtor does. You can't just look at an algorithm on a website and say, oh, my house is worth this. I'm going to put the sign in the yard. The realtors have the buyers in their car. I sell hundreds of homes every year. I sell maybe 3 or 4% myself, where I actually bring the buyer on my listing. They call me off the sign. They're driving down the street. There's a neighbor that saw the sign go up.
Well, that's what the MLS is for.
The MLS works that way. And any realtor tells you different is not a busy realtor, probably sells less than 2 homes a year. So I'd be very scared of something like that if they're not in MLS.
Well, the chances on, even though you do try to connect your buyers with your sellers and your sellers with your buyers, but the chances on you actually finding the buyer for your listing are far less than some other realtor that's picking it up because you've marketed the property in the MLS, which is a marketing engine.
I've got it on 50 different websites. I've got it all over the place, and I've got the signs. I advertise it on this radio show. We've got some new ones today. But most of the time, it's going to be another realtor that brings it in. And if somebody tells you, oh, God, I'm going to sell this myself, you don't want to be locked down where they're holding back access. I have realtors call me, Bruce, sometimes that say, well, I can't get into that house because you've got an electronic lockbox. And I'm like, why the heck?
You have the key to
I'm like, why don't you have the electronic key? It's $29. It's literally $29 a month. You can't afford to do that. I would not. I'd be scared of having representation from a realtor like that.
As well. Yeah.
So it's very important you call me at 407-352-8118. I'll help you with your real estate goals, whether it's this year, next year, or beyond. So we can do that. What else?
Well,
you know
what?
On,
I want to tell you something, because when I look at what is the most important thing that a consumer wants in hiring a real estate agent? Because let's just be honest. nowadays you can go to the interweb and you can pull up all kinds of properties, right?
Yep.
So if you can pull up all kinds of properties, why do I need a real estate agent? And here's why. And I'm not a real estate agent. I'm going to tell you exactly why you need one. And you need a good one. First of all, the buyer and the seller should never negotiate belly to belly, because the seller thinks their house is worth 10% more and the buyer thinks it's worth 10% less, right?
Yep.
On average. So your real estate agents are a buffer so that there's not belly to belly negotiation. However, here's what I find is one of the most important factors in choosing the right real estate agent. And this is why I love working with Cleve and his team, because not just Cleve is talented, but his team is talented as well. Negotiation. And I ask people all the time, and I'll even ask a realtor, hey, what sets you apart from everybody else? And they'll go, well, I'm really honest. I know the area. I've lived here a long time, and I'm available 24/7. Well, that's a horrible reason to be a good realtor, okay? Because first of all, I'd hate to be available 24/7 because that would my family would suffer from that. And nobody needs to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's just, you don't need to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. And there's nothing going to change, right? So what's really important? I'll tell you what's important. Negotiation. How good of a negotiator are you? Will you fight for that client?
Well, I show people that. I've got in my presentation, when I go over to list people, I can show them that usually I'm netting about 4 or 5% more than most other realtors. Well, so, and actually, I just got an email.
That's my point.
I got an email from a radio show listener, Bruce, asking me, well, if houses are flying off the shelf, why should we pay a full commission?
Right.
I said, well, if I can, I told him, I said, interview your discount broker, and then let me come see you, and I'll show you what I've done. I can also pull up what that broker's done and show you that they might have probably only sold 5 homes this year. If they're discounting, the first sign of a failing business is discounts.
Yep.
Kmart Blue Light specials.
Well, you know what I believe too. When you say that, okay, because everybody out there listening goes, there's a realtor around there that'll do it for less.
Yep.
So, and that's my point about negotiation. If a realtor is willing to give their commission up that easy,
what are they going to do with your money?
What are they going to do with your money?
Yep.
What are they going to do with your money? They're going to give your money away like
before our
crazy.
break, I think we got a few minutes, but I want to talk about, I've been selling a lot more homes this year, above $500,000. And let's say jumbos, your jumbo loans will start if somebody's got 10% down. A jumbo loan is going to be somebody buying around 7 or 8.
Here's the thing: you can do a jumbo loan with 10% down, but you can't do your traditional great rate with 10% down. Jumbo loans, the significant difference in a jumbo loan and a conventional loan is really the down payment requirement and the reserve requirement. So when it comes to, like, if somebody says, hey, I want to buy a $750,000 house and put 10% down, I got the program.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get the same terms as the jumbo client that's putting 20% down. That's the difference between conventional, because my rates on a conventional loan are not any different with 5%, 10%, or 20%. Mm-hmm. They don't matter.
Jumbo, a lot more risk.
Jumbo matters because jumbo investors want 20% down. When you put less than 20%, you're getting into alternative type products. And when you say alternative, it really means generally
higher rate. Yeah.
It means a higher rate.
Yeah.
Your risk is higher. And you have to remember, since those loans are not sold like Fannie Mae and Ginnie Mae loans, meaning HUD loans and conventional loans, they're not sold in the market like that, then the investors, which, like me, we have our own jumbo products, can create our own guidelines for that. Now, fortunately for my clients, if as long as you have a debt ratio under 43 and you're putting 20% down, my jumbo rates, meaning any loan above 548, is unbelievable interest rates. Like I'm locking them in as low, in some cases for high credit score borrowers, lower than conventional rates for jumbo. Yeah. So if you're out there and you're looking at refinancing or purchasing a home and you own $1 million home, or $750, you need a loan amount over $548, then you call me. 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144, or apply online at webringyouhome.com. Cleve, we got about 15 seconds.
407-352-8118. Remember, one of those rooftops on your street, my family, Loveland Properties, probably helped sell it, buy it, or manage it. CleveLoveland.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Cleve Loveland and the Loner Ranger Show, where we give you all your real estate news, what's really going on with mortgages, what's really going on with selling a house, buying a house, managing your investment property. And every week I like to give people an idea of what's out there for sale, and I've got some great listings here. I've got a condominium in Maitland, right on the edge of Winter Park in Maitland. Literally, you could walk about 2 blocks down to Park Avenue. $412,000 on this one, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, wood floors, 1,800 square feet. And this is a newer property, so you got vaulted ceilings, large master bath, and a 1-car garage on this. It's not one of those older buildings built in the 60s. The community is waterfront on the Winter Park chain of lakes. That's $412,000. I've got a 2-acre property. This is a beautiful neighborhood in Eustis, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,000 square foot home, no HOA. The gentleman selling owns a fence company, so it's gated, obviously. And it's listed for $640,000, 3,000 square feet on 2.2 acres, and no HOA and a gated custom. The home is a big open house, big open living area, oversized bedrooms. Master bedroom is enormous, and big screen porch all the way across the back of the home to enjoy just nature out back. It's just a beautiful neighborhood for $640,000. I've got a condominium coming right across the street here from your office, Bruce, looking at Lake Fairview, waterfront for $212,000. That's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. I've got a 12-acre estate coming in Lake Harney Woods. This is on the way out to Mims, just past Geneva on 46. Beautiful property, 12 acres, nice house with 2,100 square feet on 12 acres. That's going to be $440,000. And then I've got a starter home. And listen to this location. You get 12 acres in Geneva and Mims area for $440,000.
So wait a minute. You got tell me about that acreage property.
12-acre property.
I might have a client for that.
12-acre property with a 2,200 square foot house on it, and it's a nice property. You can no HOA, do what you want. Actually, the neighborhood's gated.
Can you put cows on that property?
Oh yes. Well, it's a little wet, but there's about 5 or 6 high and dry acres. So that's $440 in Mims. Let's go to Windermere for $440,000. I've got a 2,100 square foot house with a 2-car garage, all redecorated. The owner's a designer, all redone in the neutral grays and whites. The kitchen's been redone, laminate flooring on the entire bottom floor, vinyl flooring up on the top. It's waterproof in the bedrooms and bathrooms. Beautiful little neighborhood surrounded by $800,000 neighbors. Great resale value in Windermere.
That property's for how much?
That one, they're both $440,000. So give me a call if you'd like to take a look at any of these. 407-352-8118. That's kind of an early look on those because when they hit MLS, they're usually gone within a couple of days on multiple offers. So call me if you want to get a sneak peek at those because things are still cooking.
And if you're interested in that or looking at any property, give me a call at 407-250-9144. You want to get fully approved for your financing in this market. You want to get fast track. So Here's you don't go looking at property before you know what your financing looks like and before you're fully approved. And, Cleve, here's what separates me from most other lenders, particularly your internet and your large banks. They will send you a pre-approval letter before you're truly pre-approved, and then they come back later and go, well, you didn't tell me about that. And then they change the terms on you. My team is trained to get enough information to where we can issue you an approval letter and not have a surprise at the end of the day.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, if you are fast-tracked, I guarantee that you'll close in 30 days or less, or I'll pay the seller up to $500 a day for every day we miss the closing. You think that's happening?
You don't? No, I don't think you have to pay. No.
I'm not paying.
You've never been late on one of our loans, and you rescue probably 1 or 2 loans a month. When other other lenders don't get into the file enough, don't know what they're doing, and they call me saying, "Oh, we've got to change lenders."
Yep.
And I go, "Nope, we're not changing lenders I'm not changing lenders with you unless you go to the Lone Ranger."
Yep. You got to call the Lone Ranger 407-250-9144 or Cleve Loveland at 407-352-8118 or apply online at webringyouhome.com. When we come back, I'm going to talk about our construction perm class that I'm doing on the 21st.
And we are back with Cleve Loveland and the Lone Ranger, giving you all of your mortgage and real estate news every weekend here on WDBO. But the rest of the days of the week, we are out doing mortgages, selling houses, helping people manage their rental properties. And Bruce, you wanted to talk about, you mentioned before the break, construction perm.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Right now, we have a slight dilemma on having enough properties to purchase, right? So clients are out there and they're competing against multiple offers. And, we're still seeing clients win, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we're selling properties every day, and I'm doing mortgages on purchases every day. But for those of you that don't want to compete, or you want what if you want a property that you have a little bit of room to stretch out in?
Yep.
Maybe like one of your properties that you have for some acreage.
Yep.
Some people may want to build their own home. So I teach a class on how you can utilize the best construction to perm program in the mortgage industry, bar none. Conventional, FHA, and VA financing. I will walk you through the process. And if you're a real estate agent, if you're a builder, or if you're somebody that owns property, if you're one of those who may want to buy a piece of land and build your own home, this class is perfect for you.
Okay, now what about somebody, like sometimes people can't find what they want and they're looking at $600,000 or $700,000. What if they bought something, and this doesn't have to be a big piece of land, but what if they bought something for $300,000 or $400,000 and wanted to add on a bunch, not just a little renovation? They wanted to add on, like they wanted to tear the house down mostly and tear the roof off and add a second floor.
Well,
is that possible?
Absolutely. Now we have a different program for renovation versus ground up construction. It's an entirely different program. But I'm teaching a class on the 21st, which I believe is Tuesday the 21st, at 6 p.m. It's a Zoom class. Now, you must register in advance at webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. But if you are interested in understanding the process of a construction perm loan, because it's different than buying a home and closing.
Yeah, no, you're the bank. You're kind of working with the bank hand in hand.
There's draws that have to be handled. There's a process. There's rules that go into it. But here's the thing. I believe, and I haven't seen a better program yet, not one, on a construction program. So if you're interested in building on your own lot or finding a lot and building your own home on it, you want to get into my construction perm class as soon as possible. That would be at 6 p.m. on the 21st of September. You must register in advance at webringyouhome.com. I only have 100 seats available, and I think at this point, Jeanette's got most of those already covered, but I know there's still a few seats left in it, and it is Zoom seats. They're cyber seats, I think.
Yeah. I'm not sure what they call it, but there's a limit. So
there's a limit. You got 100. I got 100 people,
and I can help you hunt for that piece of land.
Absolutely.
And now, talking about the renovation product, so somebody finds a house that they want to do, like it needs a bunch of work. I was in one yesterday in College Park, right down the street from here.
Yep.
And it's a redo. It's $150,000 just to redo the house now, but it's got plenty of room if someone wanted to add on another wing.
I've got all the programs for
Is there a limit on that, like $100,000, $200,000 for renovations? Or?
No. You have to stay within conforming limits, so the end loan couldn't exceed.
Be over 540.
Couldn't be over 543.
Okay.
548. Yep.
Awesome. Good to know.
Yeah. So you can do that. So if you want to buy, how much is the house that you?
The house will probably be $375,
right? So you can put 200 into it.
Yep. And you can do just about that with your down payment and everything. Yeah, so it could be done.
Put about 200 into it.
What do you need? You just need to have the plans and the bid from the architects?
Well,
the bid from the builder?
If you're going to do a full-on reno, you're going to have a contractor, a contract with the contractor, your complete description of materials, because when you're doing a reno loan like that, you have two values. You have the as-is value.
And the renovated value.
And then you have the subject to completion value.
Yep.
Because I'm basing my loan not on the new
on the future.
On the future. Yep. What's it going to look like and what's it going to cost?
Well, that's what I love about you, Bruce, is like we got so many products. And didn't you kind of go to your owner at CrossCountry and say, we need this product and get that construction perm going?
Absolutely.
Do you still have the VA and FHA?
I have VA. I don't know anybody else that has VA loans.
Because normally construction perms forever have been
VA loan construction perm. I don't know anybody in the country that has that. FHA, 5% down construction perm. Don't know anybody else that has that. And then, of course, I've got conventional. Most banks want 20% down for a construction perm. I'll do them for as little as 10% down.
That's incredible.
It is absolutely incredible. And I'll walk you through all those stages. Again, register at WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com.
Got some emails here, Bruce. One of the big problems, I say problem, I know how to deal with it. I know how to handle it. I have people that come to me, and mom and dads have gone to assisted living, or sadly they may have passed, and mom and dad's house is neck deep in stuff. They were professional collectors, as we like to call them, extreme collectors, which really is another name for hoarding. So handling things like this is when we go to our man, Dave and Patty Lowe with Estate Sales Orlando, to handle stuff like that, and we can get it cleaned up. But definitely one of the biggest things to prevent you from getting top value if you need to sell a home is too much stuff.
Clutter.
And literally, and hoarding's the extreme end of it. But I can fix it. I can help you with it. I have a lot of people. I have a house we just closed on. Actually, we close next week, and I was so proud of the owners because I talked to a lot of people with this problem, Bruce.
Sure.
Just like you see on the TV show, and it may not be as bad or as unsanitary, but it's still a lot of stuff. And they want to downsize. They're in a big house. It's 3,500 square feet, and they want to go to a little apartment or a townhome and just downsize. And I had a client last week had so much stuff, and then scrapbooking. I think scrapbooking is actually a code word for I'm a hoarder. But scrapbooking, they had collectibles, they had sports paraphernalia, and this was the husband and the wife. They both had their share of stuff.
Well, you got to remember they're accumulating,
and they've been there for 30 years.
I'd hate to have to clean my house out.
They had Dave and Patty in.
Yep.
Sold everything.
Really?
Their brand. I came back, and like most of these people, I'll talk to them and I tell them what they need to do. I never hear from them again. I'll touch base trying to get with them, and they just can't let go of their stuff. So it's left to the family. These people, I went back to see them a month later. They had talked to Dave and Patty. The house was empty, cleaned up, fresh carpet being installed.
Fantastic.
Brand new fifth wheel sitting outside.
Just by cleaning the house out will get you more value.
It is.
I mean, you didn't even have to do anything.
I've got a
just
50-point checklist that if people do this, it's like guaranteed you'll get 2% more for the home. You don't have to pay a professional stager. I have that question all the time. Do I need to pay to rent pretty furniture to put in my home? No. Most stagers are unemployed realtors. They could not sell a house to save their lives, so they decided to rent furniture until your house needs that. And what's funny is right now, there's not a lot of staging going on because houses are selling so quick.
No,
you could literally, it could almost be a hoarder's house and still sell. Won't go for as much. But when the market slows down, because there's even people that go around, Bruce, saying, oh, wait, we'll put a home tender in your house.
Right.
So instead of renting the home and getting realistic about what the price should be to get it sold or what needs to be done, and they don't pay you rent. They pay the home tending company rent. Right. And I haven't seen them in forever. That was the 90s. And when things fell apart.
Don't make it complicated. Just call Cleve at 407-352-8118. Get your home on the market. Get top dollar for it. Or if you're looking to buy a home, I love your buyer's agents. I love working with Annette. I love working with Mike. Both of them are great negotiators, and they fight for your clients. I've got Nanette's out looking at several properties for clients right now that we're working with. And, it's interesting because I hear in this market from listing agents that if you're asking the seller to pay closing costs for the buyer, they think that you're from outer space. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't do that. I had a client that one of Cleve's agents, it's a mutual client of both Cleve and I, negotiated $10,000 in closing costs. Listing agent calls me and literally says to me, I don't think you know what's going on in the market right now, Bruce. And I'm like, hey, school me on it. Maybe I don't know. Right? Maybe I'm I don't know. So you don't know that sellers just don't pay closing costs? So I have a contract on my desk 3 days later with $7,000 in closing costs paid by the seller. Then the home inspection comes in, and Nanette negotiates another $1,500 in closing costs, $8,500.
Well, here's the thing to look at. This is what's important about having a good buyer's agent. That house had been on the market for 60 days.
Right.
In this market, started out $70,000 higher. It had 2 reductions and been sitting at this same price that we made the offer on. It'd been sitting at that price for 30 days. So obviously it's a little high. Now they also had a tenant that was an extreme collector, had a lot of stuff in there. And so, but you got to know the market. But when I have an offer come in with closing costs, I'm fine with that. I'm just looking at my net to the seller.
Yeah.
If it's $430 with $8,000 in costs, that's $420. Actually, it's about $421 to my seller. So you got to do that math there. You got to know about the costs and things like that. So
absolutely.
But to have a good, you need a good buyer's agent helping you. Call me at 407-352-8118. And if you're a realtor out there on a team, not getting enough leads, not making the money you want to make, call me. You want to work with a real estate team that will show you how to have a long-standing career in real estate, call me, 407-352-8118.
That's a great idea. Matter of fact, we're always hiring for talent around here too. I've just recently added to my team. And
is that why I couldn't find a parking space outside?
You can't find it. I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm going to do about parking. I think I'm going to have to.
You need those things like in New York, the racks that lift the cars up.
People drone themselves into my office now. I'm running out of space here. But you know what? Here's the thing. And some of my folks are going to work from home. Some aren't. But here's the thing that I do different than your Rocket and your other mortgage companies. I still am very old-fashioned. I don't know about you, but I think the service level in so many industries has gone just to heck in a handbasket.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible. Like, I've got a client right now fighting with his investment firm that's a big investment firm. It starts with an F and ends in ility, right? So, and they can't get the company to give him the statements that we need to close the loan. They can't get the bank statements. They won't give it to him. I'm like, what happened to service? What happened to, thank you for giving us the opportunity to work with you, Mr. Woodburn. We appreciate you having investments in our company. Whatever you need, we'll take care of it. So my company is committed to making sure you have great service. You want to come in and meet with me in person? I still have personal appointments. I know that sounds crazy. I'm a company that still has a receptionist. You know what a receptionist is?
I got one of those.
You have a receptionist?
I got one of those. Yep, I do.
Right? So people now, the companies, they don't even have receptionists. You just have to hit a button and try to find. I can't even order my pharmaceuticals without going through 15 different prompts now.
No, it is bad.
My wife and I are trying to take a trip to Hawaii, and I've got to do all this registration with all these prompts. I'm 62 years old. I don't like prompts. I like people going, Mr. Woodburn, how can I help you? How can I help you today, Mr. Woodburn? So if you want a mortgage and you want somebody to help you with that, and guess what? You don't pay extra for great service with me.
Yeah.
You still get a great mortgage at a great interest rate, and you don't pay extra for great service. You hit the lotto.
How much
Call
time
me at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. Or apply online at webringyouhome.com. We got 2.5 minutes.
Okay, I want to ask you real quick about something. This is going on with one of our clients together. He's going to have a large amount of cash coming to him. He's buying a house 5% down. Okay. And can he, when he gets that large amount of cash, let's say it's maybe a year from now.
After he already closes
After he already closed on the loan.
House.
I know he can recast.
Yep.
Can you put enough down to where you'll lose PMI?
Yes.
They'll take the PMI away?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
You can do that.
Awesome. He's texting me right now. Yeah. So, all right, he's just asking me that question.
You can do that.
So that's a good thing to know. So recasting is not, tell people what that is just so.
Well, recasting is, but you know that if you put a substantial amount of money down on a mortgage, all it's going to do is pay off early. But some people want to put a substantial amount of money down and have the payment reflected of the new loan amount. That's called a recast. I offer that on all my programs. The only one that you can't do it on is VA. I can do it on just about anything else. VA will not allow a recast. But my conventional and FHA mortgages, we can do recasts on most all financing. So you call me at 407-250-9144, and I'll help you with that. And it really does make a difference because you don't want to be, and here's where it's important. Your clients don't want to be a contingency offer for the house they're buying because they won't get the offer, right?
Yeah.
In other words, if they make an offer on a listing and they say, well, it's contingent upon me selling the one I have, then the seller's going to go, next, I'll find somebody that doesn't have a contingency.
Yep.
So we avoid the contingency and then recast the mortgage after it's closed.
Yep.
407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com or Cleve Loveland at 407-352-8118, 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of Cleve Loveland and the Lone Ranger Radio Show.
We are back on Cleve Loveland and the Lone Ranger Show for our final segment here, and this is one thing I love about Bruce and working with him. he comes up with products, takes it to his owner of CrossCountry Mortgage and says, hey, this sounds like a good idea. Let's develop something for this. You've got a first responder program.
I've got an amazing first responder program, and I'll tell you why I came up with that program, Cleve, is because there is no national or state-funded program for first responders, educators, healthcare workers. There isn't one. There's no state program.
Yep.
There's programs that look like they are, but they're really not.
Yep.
Don't get fooled by them. So what we did is we created this program that truly allows great discounts for you, whether you're buying or refinancing a home, if you are a first responder, including EMTs, police, teachers, anybody in the educational field, private or public, and healthcare workers, nurses, physicians, anybody working for healthcare. So at CrossCountry Mortgage, you can get dollar for dollar, U.S. American dollars toward your closing costs up to $2,198.
Yep.
But the good news is that when you combine that with Cleve and you use what's called our home program, Home Ownership Made Easy, designed, and all you got to do is prove that you're in one of those fields, then he matches that discount. So that really gives you $4,000, $4,200 that a client can use to defray their closing costs, their escrows, all kinds of things.
I really want to get people into houses, Bruce. I've just never seen anybody go wrong. In my 30 years, I've never had somebody call me going, I want you to come take this house back. Never.
No.
And it's just, and I've never seen anybody not make money unless they went full tilt when they shouldn't have in 06, and I was telling them not to. So you will make money in real estate in the long run, just like we teach in our wealth seminar. It's really important, and this is something the first responders, we can help them make it a little easier to get into a house.
Yep, first responders, teachers, I owe it to my teachers because I was a terrible student, so I'm going to repay you back. But this is real money, you guys. This is not some fabricated program that we increase cost and then give you a discount like it, It's not like you were buying a pair of shoes for $99 and now they're on sale 2 for $45.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that. This is the real deal. And what we did is we wanted to give back to our healthcare workers, first responders, educators, and this is how we're going to do it. So all you have to do is apply online at webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com, or contact me at 407-250-9144. That's my personal cell phone number. You can text that number too, and just say, I'm interested in your home program, Home Ownership Made Easy, or you can call it my teacher program or my healthcare worker program, whatever comes to mind. But just let me know that you fall into that field and that's what you want to apply for. If you know somebody that's currently renting right now, stop them, grab them by the shoulders, and give them my phone number right away. Let's get the process started.
Use a Sharpie.
No reason.
Use a Sharpie, write it on their forehead.
Write it on their forehead. Anybody that's renting right now is making a major mistake. And Cleve and his team will help you go find that house, right? I'll get you pre-approved. We'll get your financing ready to go, get you some great discounts, and then Nanette and Mike can go out and find a home.
Right now, we're in September. You could be having, the kids would be going trick-or-treating in your new neighborhood.
You could go trick-or-treating, definitely Thanksgiving
there,
and
definitely Christmas.
In your brand new home, a new home. And by the way, one more thing. I've got some great properties at Hanover Family Builders, and we've got some new communities opening up.
I just passed the one in Mount Dora.
Well, the one in Mount Dora and the Celery Oaks in Sanford is killing it right now. You're close to Daytona Airport, Sanford Airport, and the 417. You can get anywhere you want from Celery Oaks. Call me at 407-250-9144 or visit my website at webringyouhome.com. We'll connect you with all the right people. Cleve, I cannot thank you enough for your professionalism, the wisdom that you bring to the table for people that want to buy and sell homes. I really appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you, Bruce, and getting those loans done on time, all the time. And any kind of real estate help you need, call me, 407-352-8118. Have a great week.
Yep, have a great weekend. Enjoy and tune into my show tomorrow at 11 o'clock, same channel.